We're back and better than ever. Series 2 time for the 3 Points of Articulation podcast, and welcome back. I've had a few weeks off, and I'm your host, Jamie the Big Tasty Wills, and joined as per usual, as per season 1, by Johnny Flashback.
Good to see you back again. Mixing up your series and seasons. You already had one paragraph of sentence of you said both already.
Well, that's good. Consistency is key here on the 3 Points.
Inconsistency, Jamie.
Inconsistency is key. And Adam, the wrestling man, who hopefully is not going to gripe my grammar too much.
I will try. I'm a bit bleh today, so bear with me. I'll be good.
Well, as you can tell, I've had a shave. If you're watching, you probably can't tell if you're listening, but you can hear my lovely singing voice instead, which is always a good thing. And we're covering retros again this episode, but we're looking back on the retros that we covered in Series 1. Series 1?
Well, season with this one.
Season 1. And we'll be having a retrospective on those bad boys. So, but first of all, we've got ourselves some news. News World Order time now, where we're going to be bringing you some news around the world in some form of order. Start with Adam. Adam, what sort of news you got for us today?
Yeah, we got one from Zombie Sailor Toys, who have been doing the retro type of Hasbro figures. We've got quite a decent lineup, 6 figures. I'll just reel off the names and then we can talk about them. We've got Earl Hebner, Kevin Sullivan, Dino Bravo, Bruiser Brody, Sabu, and Danhausen. What are we thinking about those boys?
I think we've discussed the Sabu, the Danhausen, and Bruiser last time, I believe. So shall we have a look at Dino Bravo first? Wow, what a name to get. Never had a figure, I believe, not even like an LGN or Hasbro or anything. So what a major coup this one is.
Yeah, definitely. I think if they go for the light blue trunks, which I believe they are, the colour's really going to pop on the figure. Really good to get a Dino Bravo figure, especially in this scale, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, one thing that we've discussed about these figures is that the way that these companies are going to survive is by doing people that are more in the broad wrestling fan knowledge, because a lot of the indie people, a lot of the current wrestling fans won't know, such as me, just know the WWE and AEW mainly. But like people like Dino Bravo are going to bring in a whole new set of people to these kind of figures. So brilliant stuff.
Yeah, the target market is those guys that collected the Hasbros back in the day. So this is one of the ones that was a bit of a major omission. We have talked about it before. Say if we ever wanted to go back and place one figure in the Hasbro line, it was Dino Bravo. I think that's what I answered anyway.
Yeah, it was there or thereabouts. I think there's been a couple floating around. I think I changed my answer every week we mention it. So we did it probably. I think I remember him as a child. Was he the one that used to do the weightlifting at the start? Am I right in thinking that?
Sounds about right.
Start the Rumble, I think it was one of the original Rumbles that we watched. That's the one. So yeah, I had that on VHS as a youth. So that's my fondest memory of our Dino.
Did he break the record with the help of Jesse Ventura?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the chap. But yeah, it's good that we've got a good broad sense of it. Bruiser Brody, in a way, we've gone for the full set. You missed the Major Pod chaps on there, the 3 of them. They're also in the line, of course, because they're friends of Zombie Sailor Toys. We covered those a few weeks ago. But I think in my eyes, there's a good blend then of old/new/indie, I guess, with that Danhausen chap.
Yeah, it's exactly what the retro line did. So I guess that's the way to go. And I guess, we'll move on to it later, but Chella Toys doing almost the same thing, maybe. Anyway, let's move on. Next one is Kevin Sullivan. It appears to be a 1980s type attire where he's the Prince of Darkness. And, it looks like it has makeup, face paint, a dog collar. So it's not the 90s one, but an 80s one, which you'd say is probably more toyetic.
Yeah, definitely. If you imagine Kevin Sullivan, you want to imagine him as kind of like a maniac, big figure. And that's exactly what it's come with, the face paint and the cross on his head and things. I think it's a cross. So yeah, great for me. Interesting to see if that one comes with any kind of accessories or whether it's just a plain figure.
It does come with the accessory, is being designed and is pictured with a chain link leash. So I guess that goes around his collar, so you can attach that leash to his collar.
I noticed that the pictures are done by the Hasbro designer, Ron Rudats, is it?
That's right, yeah.
Have they all been like that, or is it?
I believe so. Yes, I think he's working very closely with Zombie Sailor and producing these images. I still think we need to see the final product to really get a good idea of what they're going to be.
It'll be interesting to see the card, how the card's going to look, because we've seen the figures and the renders and so on. Be interesting to see which way they go, whether they go the Cheddar Toys way of making it look like a Hasbro one, which is what you assume, or whether they go completely left field and redesign or reinvent the wheel, essentially.
I mean, they look like Hasbro's, so I just wonder if they're going to have actions where Cheddar Toys didn't have the action. But I imagine that's an expensive thing to do, especially for someone who's like an independent toy maker. We'll have to see. It doesn't say anything.
I haven't actually seen the Earl Hebner one. Has anyone actually seen it? So
there's nothing out yet. Nothing.
I think it's just been announced that it's coming, but no design as of yet. I don't think.
What are we thinking? Are we thinking black and white stripes, or are we thinking blue? Or
I would go for the classic, but you know, it could go either way.
I'd like to see black and white, but I assume if they're going for that era, it'll be the blue one. But yeah, I think all they've done is put like little vignette. The little video. Vignette, that's the little video for Kevin Sullivan, which was quite good. They had a bit of a hype around it for a few days and sort of saying there's like the Prince of Darkness is coming and so on, and then he had a full promo into the camera where he shouted at you for a bit to buy his toy. So whereas Earl Hebner's just had a little video of him standing on the sofa in his referee gear. So whether he wears that day to day is a different story or not. But.
Yes, shall we move on to another line? We've got Micro Brawlers, and this is the AEW Series 1, which, with the popularity of AEW, I'm guessing they've sold quite a lot. What happened was that pre-orders were available from the 10th of February to the 18th of February. So if you didn't get your order in before that, then you've missed out. In the series, we've got Darby Allin, Britt Baker, Orange. We think we've announced these already, but yeah. We talked about it last time, but yes, so that pre-order's ended. Then you guys interested or pick them up?
Not for the price that they were at, unfortunately. Was it $18? And then you've got post and things like that and customs. So yeah.
Yes, that is a bit of a kicker for anyone in the UK that wants them, and I just don't think they're worth $18. It's just, for what they are, they're not worth that much. That's, it's nearing the price of an Elite.
I think personally they've done really well in getting they've put the Brody Lee one in there, which I think a lot of people are going to be picking up as a Brody Lee one. And you sort of think if you're picking that up, you're probably going to pop in a couple of the other ones to make up for the postage, essentially. So I think that's what a few people have done from the UK, for ones that I've been speaking to anyway. But all in all, it's not really for me, Micro Brawlers. I think we discussed them before, where the price point for them now is just craziness, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why I brought this old news back, is that, the price point was just completely whack.
Agreed.
18 grand. I think £6 they'd get me. I'm cheap. £6 would be my limit.
But to be honest, although they look good, that is essentially what they are. They are a kind of stocking filler type of figure, so they should be that price. £18 was abysmal.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of pricing, there was a little surprise sort of pre-order, and it was all to do with the Macho Man, and that they just sprung it on people, and there was a 2-hour gap to get pre-orders in. So it started with an Orange Trunks Macho Man. So that was like, you know, the classic WrestleMania 4 when he won the title. So I believe all these prices changed throughout the day as well. So one figure was one price, the next figure was a different price, and so on and so on. I believe they got cheaper rather than more expensive throughout the day. So I'll just talk you through what we had for them. We've got the orange one I just said. Then it went to Omega Powers, all black Macho Man in trunks, which I don't think he ever wore. It's not an NWO version. It's trunks, black trunks, black boots.
Madness.
Yeah, and a USA one, which again I don't think he's ever worn. It's a blue trunks with red knee pads and white boots. Then we got the pink, which is like a WrestleMania 3, and then lastly the neon green, which is similar to the retro. So I believe that was the cheapest, where the first one was the most expensive, in a 2-hour pre-order gap with no warning. What do you think of that?
It's a strange one, that one.
Yeah, peculiar.
That little time, because that is something that will be quite sought after, with it being Macho Man. Macho Man always sells well, so strange to limit people and to risk people missing out, because they won't care about the secondary market, because they won't get any profits from that. So a very strange decision.
Yeah, personally, I find it weird that they've started with the expensive ones and then gradually got down. I'm surprised they didn't go the other way and put the cheap ones first, and then people miss out on them. They're like, oh, I've missed out on them. I better get the next one, and then build up from there. So very peculiar. But yeah, the surprise drop is even more surprising, no pun intended, of course.
I mean, if anything else, they are doing a lot of revolutionary and different things in terms of pre-order and how you order figures. So as we talked about last time, the Vader was on a pre-order, in that the amount that got pre-ordered was the amount that's got made. Was that the case with Vader, or am I remembering that?
Yeah, that's what you said at the time, yeah.
Yeah, so they are doing a few different things, and quite creative in a way, and creates a lot of interest in a brand which, to be honest, wasn't even on the radar about a year ago.
No, yeah, you got to clap the fact that they're trying new things. It's just, I think, pick your spots with certain things that you're going to try it with, and as Adam said, Macho Man's going to be very sought after. So maybe they did it as a case of someone's going to pick up a Macho Man, regardless of color. So of trunks, of course. But yeah, just have to wait and see how many get made of those.
Sure. Should we finish up a bit of retro talk with a big announcement from Cella? So the big announcement was, I talked about it before, the need to bring a big name in. And what name did I say? The Dynamite Kid. And that's who they are releasing next. So we have seen some proto pictures. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I like it. As I said, I don't actually have a Bulldog Hasbro because I haven't really been collecting the Hasbros, but I imagine it's going to look good next to a Bulldog one. As you said before, it's definitely one that's needed for that line. So yeah, it's good to see that people like you are finally getting this wish of owning a Dynamite.
Yeah, it's a nice classic attire. It looks good. Obviously, facially, you can only really take what you can take from pictures. I just hope they nail that one, and not make the head too big like they did with Aldous. That because if you've got a one with a massive head next to Bulldog who hasn't got a massive head, it's going to look a bit strange. So I hope they get that one right. Nice classic attire, kind of late 80s kind of attire. Good for me.
Yeah, it's a perfect choice for attire. Just, you know what Jamie's saying, I'm finally getting the Dynamite Kid I've ever always wanted, but I'm not sold completely on these Cella toys. I was quite disappointed with the Nick Aldis. I know we've got Blue Meanie coming and still got pre-ordering for that. It was no interest in Ethan Page, so that's definitely not getting picked up. And I just don't know how they do compare next to a Hasbro, so I probably would not even display it next to the Bulldog, if I'm honest.
Be interesting to see if the action works as well, because obviously a lot of people thought that Aldous was going to have some kind of action, and then he didn't.
No, I imagine they're going to continue the way Aldous went. I'm looking at the proto pitches now. There's nothing in that place for an action. It's just that they rotate up and down or tear off in case of mine.
Bit misleading if the box says there's an action again.
Yeah, it was a strange one to put in. But I mean, on top of this, we have actually seen some reports that they didn't even have the rights to make them, and that there's some sort of controversy regarding that. Jamie, you sort of spoke to someone about it, didn't you? So can you shed a bit more light on that? Is there any?
Yeah. I mean, I posted it on our Facebook group at 3POA in case anyone's wanting to have a look. There's some chap commented and said that apparently his family haven't blessed it. Apparently there's a bit of a dispute about from one side of the family and another side of the family, sort of arguments and so on. I think his wife signed it off and his family didn't.
Yeah.
Or something in that realm, but apparently that's quite a common thing that's happened before with Dynamite Kid.
Just depends who has the rights to it. I mean, if his wife has the right to do that, then it's got nothing else to do with anybody else. So.
Yeah, I wonder if it was an ex-wife, and it just depend who is the legal owner of the estate. I guess that's what you call it in the US, but I'm not sure about in this country. So yeah, it's up in arms a bit. You never know; it might not even turn out to be released.
Be a shame if it isn't. I mean, if I died and I was a wrestler, I'd want figures made of me in the future. Let the legacy live on. It's a good thing, but I think it's each to their own sometimes, isn't it? Maybe if someone doesn't collect figures, doesn't mean anything to figures, they didn't see it that way. So,
well, it's not as if Tom Dynamite Kid never had any figures before. You know, he had the Jax Classic. So yeah, I'm sure his wishes was that he could get back in the figure thing, but and I don't think the family is not wanting to do figures. I just think they're having disputes of who gets to make those decisions.
Maybe the royalties as well.
Yeah.
I don't know on that side of things. Any other retro news?
I think I'm done with the old retro smaller figure type things.
Or else we on to Mattel, or have you got anything else for us?
We've got the first images of the Storm Collectibles Jushin Liger figure. Very, very different to the other ones that we've had. You guys seen those?
I tried to search all morning for it, but I couldn't find it. But then you showed me just before we started recording. I'd be quite interested in that. I'm quite interested in 80s stuff rather than 90s stuff. So I probably will look out to get that if it's readily available.
Yeah, it's from the 1989 debut, where he had much more of a samurai gimmick and quite wavy curly hair. So it does look completely different to the others. So, I mean, we spoke before on the pod about how I kind of rolled my eyes, or they're making another Jushin Liger. They must be selling, and this one is completely different. So it could be one that I end up buying after all that.
I think if you talk about toyetic, I mean, this Liger is the most toyetic thing you could think of. All the different outfits, all the colors normally pop on there. It wouldn't look out of place in a Power Rangers set. It wouldn't look out of place in a Mortal Kombat set. It's a good-looking figure, and I think it's if they've got a cash cow there, essentially, with people buying this stuff, then then they're going to keep releasing it.
Absolutely. So rather than go on to Mattel, we'll go to Mattel last, shall we, Jamie?
Yeah.
So we have a look at Figures Toy Company. Not something I kind of into myself, but they have released the Eli Drake is coming soon. So I've got a picture in front of me.
Eli Drake or LA Knight? Which
it is Eli Drake, of course. I can't really say the NXT name of LA Knight, but obviously this timing is quite right, isn't it?
Wonder when his debut is going to be. Imagine it'll be LA Weekend, NXT. But I've seen the picture of the toy. It's just so far just a image of the background and the actual drawing of the picture. Is that right, or is there an actual?
Well, there is actually a picture of the figure, or if it's not, it's a very well-made computerized image. But yeah, he's got an all ego hoodie and vest on, blue red knee pads and red trunks. the face looks a bit off. I wouldn't have recognized him at all.
Isn't it all ego? Isn't that Ethan Page, or is that?
Oh,
Yeah, I think that is.
I've mixed them up then, haven't I? Oh, I googled the image and it came up with a Facebook page and it says, "Here is the new Eli Drake figure," but I've obviously got a picture of Ethan Page.
I hope you clicked it. It said "dummy." Yeah.
Ding dong.
At least that shows you why you couldn't recognise him.
Yeah.
There might be hope for the figure.
Bit of a blunder there.
I think, from the background image I've seen, I haven't seen the actual image yet. I might have done, but it might have been someone completely different. Might have been a Dynamite Kid, you never know. But yeah, I think looking at the actual image of it, it's a good pick for it. I as I said to you guys the other day when NXT picked up, look at Ethan Page then, it's not, is it, LA Knight or Eli Drake. I think it's a really good pickup for him. His mic work is really, really good. And I think for the figure toys company, producing figures like this, as we discussed before, Adam, with Swerve, Isaiah Scott, people are going to be picking these up before the Elite's release, which looking at probably have a couple of years' time.
Yeah, it's great timing. They're doing well with their picks because they are going to sell quite a lot of stock on them purely based on the reputation that the guys are going to get in the WWE, which is great.
The thing is, they had him on contract since 2017. I seen that on their Facebook page when I was doing my little search. And yeah, if they're not having bothered now, now's the time to strike. But I don't know if WWE might get it pulled for some reason. I don't know if that's the case or not.
If there's a contract signed, you can't imagine.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so this long down the line because the WWE would have to compensate if they were going to do that. So.
Yeah, I think, when Brian Myers had a figure with FTC, there was something where WWE bought it out. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but something, he was bought out in some way. So you never know. But I wouldn't have thought they would have said they're releasing it if they're not going to.
I think they've had, obviously, some of the individual companies have been releasing figures like Eli Drake, like Swerve Scott, and obviously Taya Valkyrie as well. We recently signed with NXT. She had is it Lucha Underground one that she had? Also, she's just been signed as well. So it's I don't know whether it's worth keeping an eye on them and whether they just got a really good scout that knows these things way in advance or can see potential. But yeah, sort of interesting to see all these figures making up and coming people.
Cool. So a little bit of news because the last figures were quite sought after is Jim Cornette from Figures Toy Company. I've been listening to his podcast as I do twice weekly. They are having a restock of both figures that were released. So that was the red and yellow and a Christmas variant. And they'll be coming to Jim Cornette's store on the 14th of March. So if anyone wants to get a pre-order, get it signed with some nice profanity on, there you go. There's your chance to do that. And he has sort of confirmed that there's going to be a new color combo coming as well. So he will be getting a new figure soon as well.
Good news. That's probably the second best figure toy company figure after the Blue Meanie. And it is one that's highly sought after. I've got it, luckily for me. Not the variant, that's awful, but the red and yellow one. So yeah, good news for everyone.
I'll have to set a reminder because I do want one and preferably signed as well. So because I'm a big fan of the podcast, be happy to pick them ones up.
Nothing says Christmas like Jim Cornette. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? Does it come with a tennis racket or anything? I think
Adam, do you remember?
No, I mean, I got it loose, so I'm not 100%, but I've got it with an old Jack's tennis racket.
Yeah, I don't think this one come with a tennis racket.
Hopefully the new one does, because I think that's what I remember Jim Cornette. I've been watching a lot of 96 wrestling at the moment, so Jim Cornette with obviously the Bulldog and Yoko and so on. So they're quite interesting to get one if it comes with a tennis racket, and they're not quite good. Yeah. Or just go and pick up the BCA one and I'll stop being cheap.
They should add it if they are releasing a new one because it is a vital part of his gimmick.
Lovely stuff.
Lovely stuff. AEW. Fancy a little brief chat about this. Nothing major, but I know Adam sometimes goes on about how packaging is, and the new version of the little bit of the bubbly is packaged different. Doesn't mean anything to me, but Adam, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think it's
I've not actually seen it, so I'm going to let you run with this.
Oh, it's not like it's any different in the figure. It's just that the placement of the accessories are different inside the box. So you said about something like the Rock is packaged the same in one figure as the another, and you said it would bring the value down. What would you think about this sort of thing with this essentially two versions?
I can't see the accessories making any difference. I mean, there will be some people who class themselves as completists, but 99% of people, if they just move the accessories around, it's not going to matter.
Fair enough. I would have thought you said different because of you were quite against the Rock being packaged with different series.
Two completely different figures though with the Rock, where it would bring the value down of one of the releases compared to the other one, whereas this is the same release but just in a different order.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's a weird time for them to do that. I know the AEW line, I think we discussed it before, but because of all the re-releases and so on, it seems to be a bit dropping off now with people searching for them. You see a lot of Darbys and Orange Cassidys and the Young Bucks on the secondary market a bit quicker than before. So I don't know whether this is a bit late to try and catch the completists, or whether people have already given up on it. But I mean, when the original figure came out, 8 months ago, give or take? It might be last year.
Or August or September, I believe.
But yeah, very, very strange one.
I'm pleased the way releasing it because I didn't want it back then, but now I want it. And apparently it's heading to me, but I've had a big package stuck in Memphis for the last week or so I have no idea what's happening with that. I'm just hoping it's to do with weather and it's been delayed and backlogged because of that and not completely missing.
You could have walked it quicker.
Yeah, maybe.
I won't sing Walking in Memphis.
I knew you were going there.
You can see it. I could see your head shaking your head in the corner there. I wouldn't do that to you.
I never get these things. Anyway, Jeremy Padawa did an interview on Talk is Jericho, so if anyone wants to check that out, it's a pretty interesting listen. And nothing really major in news. It's just more about his business model, what he thinks, where he thinks the line's going and what he's going to do, and about a lot to do with card collecting and things like that. But that's neither here nor there for this podcast. But he did say they're definitely going to make the updated version of Series 1 with the new skin tone. So it's definitely coming. It will also have an updated packaging. So it's going to say Series 1 version 2 on the packaging as well. Apparently this will protect the original value of the first series. I'm not sure about that.
Sounds like another excuse to make money, to be honest. I can see why they hadn't done it now, because they're re-releasing all those people in different attires already again. So I can see why they're going to make it wait. And again, you're going to get people who are still going with the AEW figures who are quite excited about that. Me personally, I am not excited about that.
I'm definitely excited because, there is something lackluster about Series 1 compared to the rest of them. So I'm probably definitely going to buy those again, whether I get the loose and the boxed. I don't know which way I'm going with all this, but I'm just buying them just in case at this point. But I definitely want to get a better version of the first series.
Do you reckon they'll do the same with the chasers? Do you reckon they'll do another 1 of 1,000 but as Series 1 version 2?
Either have to, really. It's part of the series, isn't it?
I don't know. I think that would devalue the first ones. Even though they says that they won't, I still think, yeah.
Without a doubt, it's going to devalue the first release. But then again, you never know. You think about these books that are published and they get second editions released and things like that. And things like the first edition of Harry Potter are selling for, $100,000 and things like that. So
and that was bought by
Jeremy Padawa.
So full circle.
I think he got one early on, but it's like he did say that in the interview that he bought a Harry Potter book at some point and now it's worth $50,000 or whatever. He seems to be in the know about things like cards and graded stuff like that. So I think he's going to make a lot of money in that realm as well, as he's figure making.
It'll be J.K. Rowling in it.
Ah, good one.
Thanks. Cheers. Anything else for A-Dub?
No, we can move on to your Mattel news. We'll get started on that.
All right, I'm chomping at the bit to get some Mattels on there. So let's start off with the fan takeover, ultimate fan takeover, should we say? Triple H, you get the poll that was released earlier this week. I shared it on our Facebook, and we had a discussion between the three of us as well. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm going to sound like a massively old man, like I have done through most of this topic, to be honest, but I don't care. We've had so many Triple H's that there's going to be nothing that's enough new about it to warrant me caring. It's a strange choice for me to do a Triple H one. We seem to have had variants of everything, so please enlighten me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're very correct with that. You know, we've got the King of the Ring 2000, which is going to be very, very similar to the original Ultimate that was released. We've got the Survivor Series 2006, which, you know, is a DX thing. I think he's had 2 figures released as elites like that. And we've got the Super Showdown 2018. If I'm honest, I don't mind if they release that, so I don't have to get it.
Yeah, I think the Survivor Series match, that's the one with they beat Team Rated R, wasn't it? Is that the one? 5-0?
Yeah.
Which I think the most memorable moment from that was Shawn Michaels kicking Mike Knox in the face, which if you were to have one of them, you'd have Shawn Michaels over Triple H for that event. But they're very strange, the three picks that they've gone for. They've essentially gone, we don't know, we can't pick between any of these. We've had them all before. Why don't you decide, and then you might pick it up. So it's very, very strange that they've gone for those 3.
It was just a wrong choice of person as well. They need to, rather than repeating the same ones in the Ultimate line, they need to go for someone else. You haven't even seen an Undertaker. You haven't seen Kane. You haven't seen Drew McIntyre.
And Drew McIntyre,
something like that. You know, there's loads of other choices that you could go for rather than doing the same ones again. Especially one like Triple H just doesn't change much.
100% agree. It's the only one I've not voted on.
Yeah, don't care either way.
I think I'd quite like to see an Asuka. An Asuka Ultimate would look good in the box.
That's a perfect fit because, you know, that we said before about Asuka, they will require a lot of tooling, a lot of deco, and if they're going to release a decent coat, you know, it's going to fit that $35 price point that it's at. So yeah, Asuka is a perfect choice for the line.
Yeah, it's just I know Bill McKean is a massive Asuka fan, so yeah, very strange that they haven't gone down that route yet. But fingers crossed they might do. You never know. I don't think the women ultimates sell as well as the men's one, the current day women, should we say? So I know you see a lot of the Rouseys circulating, but you also see a lot of the Shinsuke's, I guess, and maybe just the earlier series.
Yeah, I think that's because they're released worldwide, probably in larger numbers, things like that. So it is what it is with those series. But I think a lot of people are going to go back and collect them for a completest collection. But also, you have seen that Ronda Rousey pop up again on Smith's. I think it was $7.99 or something ridiculously cheap. So I think they got picked up pretty quick.
Well then, we'll actually move on to the Championship Showdown Series 4. So once again, 3 in the series. A better looking series. We've got Riddle versus Styles, Kofi versus Morrison, and Drew versus Seth. So all 3 from last year.
No interest at all. Nothing. I
Not even a
can't
smidgen.
comment.
Yeah, all 6 competitors really have been released in basic form quite recently. So if anyone's buying these, it will be just for the side plates and things if they're collecting them.
I'd say the titles as well.
I still don't see a lot of collectibles in the plastic side plates, if I'm honest. But
side plates / stands, Johnny. Let's put that out there just to clarify. But the Riddles and Styles one's going to come with the new Star YC title, which we've only had with the most recent release of the Shinsuke figure, which I don't think actually is coming out in this country. Kofi and Morrison, that one's going to come with the tag titles from only last year, and Drew and Seth will come with the WWE title.
So they're coming with accessories now.
They'll come. So that would be the title feud that they'd come with. But they come with the belts, don't they? The side plates that go on the belt.
Oh yeah, they come with the side plates, but there's no actual figure accessories in the packs.
No, but that'll be the.
You've got to buy the big one separate.
I think I drifted out at the beginning of this conversation. I apologise.
Sorry, I think I did as well. Right, so I mean, Championship Showdown, they had a good start, though. A bit of flashbacks in there. We discussed Series 3 and having the Flair and the Giant, which was a great pick for them to have that in there to get people invested in it. I think this might go the other way and put people off if they are looking at getting the full set.
Yeah, let's leave the Championship Showdown in the past and move on to the Nwo John Cena, represented very well by my own T-shirt at the moment. What do you think of this one? I think it's an excellent choice for a figure. I'm not going to pick it up, but I definitely see why they've made it. It was a good choice to do it, and it looks well in the package.
It has got people excited about a John Cena figure. And rightly so. We spoke briefly, I think, in a previous pod about how there's a lot of moments that last that they could have done figures from. And this is like a 20-second, 30-second segment within a match where this figure's come from. But it's got people talking and it's got people excited, and it's a fantastic choice for a figure. I will definitely be getting this one, and I wouldn't think that I'd say that. So yeah, it's got me excited as well.
I think it's the first thing that I thought after I saw the Mania match last year was, oh, when are they going to do a figure of this? And I think I even saw a few people saying, can't wait for this to be an elite. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good choice to have this on there. Even if it is just a small moment, I think having the box the way it does with the NWO, if you're a big NWO fan, just close the box and you've got that there. Open it up, it looks fantastic. Take it out the box and have the box as a background. It looks great as well. So I really like the packaging for these at the moment.
Yeah, I seem to be doing a lot of that with Ringside Collectibles packaging, where they have the backgrounds as a little bonus to your figure, so you've got something to display it behind. And if you haven't seen it, it's a Nitro background with NWO lettering on it. Tradition bites, NWO for life.
Same with the Hardys 2-pack from Ringside. They had the bottom of it had the little what's the word we're looking for?
Fire.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so I had that on there, and obviously the Walter the Bray Wyatt one that came out as well, and the Dead Man's Revenge. So it's all very positive, which is good.
Lovely. Shall we call it a day on news?
Let's call it a day. Lovely. So we've got pickups next. Get your wallets out, boys, and have a look at your pickups.
Ooh, some lovely pick-me-ups.
Pick-me-ups time now. We'll be looking at all of the pickups that we've had since the last season of the pod. The extended delay, should we say? So we should have a few gems in there. Johnny, let's fire across to you.
I do indeed have a few pickups. It could have been a lot more, but as I alluded to earlier, I've had a couple of boxes being delayed in the States. So we'll start off with Riho from the Series 3 of AEW, which Adam has picked up as well.
I have indeed.
What do you think of it? I've heard people really lambasted, but it's not too bad.
She's got quite a unique face in real life.
Yeah.
But the figure's got a very unique face. It's I don't know, there's something about the cheeks where they've gone wrong for me. It just makes it look a little bit monstrous rather than reality.
Yeah, that's probably it. Good point. Did you pick up any other AEW?
No, just that one. Just a quick note about how poor the belt is.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed.
Lots of details.
I couldn't recall how the belt looked in real life. So
not like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like as much detail on that. I did pick up the books on our last edition, but I've opened them now. So there's my loose set. Pretty decent. Very much better than last time. Bit disappointed that Nick's headband's not removable though, but beggars can't be choosers. And also picked up Pac. What I've done now is I usually show these in box, but after last time I opened some of the Royal Rumble and the WrestleMania figures after the fact and discovered that some of them are absolutely brilliant, like the Shawn Michaels and the Umaga, far excuse me, exceeded my expectations, let's say. So I kind of want to open them now on so I can get a better look at the figures.
I'm guessing with the fact that you're using the one with the hair over his face suggests that Pac did not exceed your expectations.
It's not the best figure ever, but it's also not the worst. And I think if it's going to come with two heads on a figure, I'm going to display the one that it doesn't use in the box as my loose one. So I'm kind of going to try and make that as a bit of a rule in terms of that. So get the breast of both worlds.
Something like that, anyway.
Comes with a chair as well.
What more could you want? How's the chair?
Just what you want from a chair, though. It struggled to hold it. Pac's hands don't seem to be the best type to actually hold the chair.
I think I've been picking up, sorry, as a side note, but obviously the BCA figures, and they come with the chairs. I don't think they've actually had, I think they're the best chairs that they've had, in my opinion, just for sort of nostalgia and how they're made and how easy they are to put back together after you've hit yourself with a lovely chair shot.
I probably disagree with that. I think, Mattel's seem to be the best, but then again, they use the same sort of type as the BCA anyway, so it's the same thing, really. Anyway, moving further on to the collection, Darby Allin. There he is, and excellent figure, I think. I almost thought he didn't come with molded shorts, but they are molded, so that's pretty neat as well. And the only thing that should have maybe had is you could have put some pegs on the skateboard so it could stand on it, to connect the underside of the feet. So maybe they could try and do that for a next release. And the star of the show, I think this is a lot better than what we've seen as a picture. I really like the face. I think it's pretty well done. Once you take the glasses off, it's a lot better than.
I'm seeing double.
Funny. I'm not.
Yeah, the clothes look like they fit a lot better than they looked in the images.
Yeah, and I think the face is a vast improvement from what I've seen in the image. I was kind of expecting it to be pretty bad, but I'm quite impressed with that.
Yeah, I think overall, the first images we saw, it looked terrible. I think that's a vast improvement. I like the little thumb action that it comes with. I think that was a must in there, so it's really good to see.
Plenty of hands with this one.
Expected, though. I think it's a good thing it comes with hands. I think you've got every scenario covered for Orange Cassidy with the hands.
I might as well finish off with a bit of AEW I also picked up. I know we spoke about it before, and I said I didn't like it and I didn't want it, but it's the Blood Brothers, or the Blood and Guts 2-pack. Both MOC
The
and
father
Rhodes.
and son 2-pack.
So I picked them both up at probably more than I should have, but they were also not too expensive in terms of what they've been going for on eBay. What issue I'm having with his head is Cody's head's very loose. Don't know whether that was a fault or whether it's
A weird Linda Blair variant. She's the girl from The Exorcist, in case anyone's wondering.
Yes.
I didn't know that. But yeah, there's my AEW pickups for the 3 weeks we've missed.
Are you missing anything?
That's all for AEW.
No. I mean, have you got everything that's out so far? Or
Yes, I'm still waiting on the bubbly, which is coming from US, as we talked about. The Memphis, it's in Memphis. Hopefully, walking its way here.
Good
And is
joke.
that it? Done.
That's it for AEW.
Excellent.
Have you got a loose ring?
I haven't opened it yet, but I've got the Cody with the ring on. I'll open it at some point. And actually, I should stop speaking because I'll ruin it for next episode.
Well, tell you what, the ring makes a really good mouse mat. In case you're wondering, it's it's a decent mouse mat. But yeah, look forward to that one. Should we move on to yours truly? It's me, I think, isn't it? Is that correct? So, as you all know, every Friday of the month, we like to partake in a little quiz, don't we, Jonathan?
We do indeed.
We do. The Legion of Hasbro Facebook group. Very good quiz run, very well by Phil Rapley. The winner picks up a mint on card. Hasbro normally. Johnny, have you? Oh no, sorry, you didn't win, did you? No, I did.
No, you didn't win either. We drew.
I won.
It was a draw.
I won. And here we are. Here's the Hulk Hogan Series 3 mint on card Hasbro. Very good looking card. Looks like it hasn't gone. 91 it came out. So it's better condition than I do for a similar amount of years. So a very, very good figure. The card pops. I think a very worthy prize for a worthy winner, some say.
Well, I would say it's a worthy prize, but I'm not sure about the worthy winner. We were neck and neck. We finished on the same amount of points, but apparently you answered one or two quicker than me, which got you the win.
You say
Good figure, though.
It's a great figure.
Concentrating on the figure, it's the best Hogan figure. It's the one that I always liked best as a kid. The colours popped a lot more than the other two.
Yeah, it's definitely the best Hogan figure, best action, easiest to play with, and yes, it's a very good prize. So thanks to those guys at Legion of Hasbro.
Yeah, it's a really good quiz as well. I think even when I didn't think I was ever going to win it because my knowledge isn't fantastic on the Hasbros. I remember it as a child, but there's a lot of questions on that. I think you're messaging me throughout it saying I'm not doing too well on this, and I was like, at least I might beat him this month. Missed a few sitters as well, but yeah, I think all in all, it's a very good quiz. I think I just got lucky this month.
It is. I think it's the only quiz that's actually playable online because all others are just like, whoever appears first in the feed gets the point, whereas this one takes into effect all the lag and, you've got plenty of time to answer. Just a really well run quiz and top tech, I guess, that Phil's using. And it's entertaining. Yeah,
it's good fun. I enjoy it. It's any hour I get, I've book off with the misses each month as soon as it's announced. So, and I've got to defend my title. The both belts are on the way. One from Ireland, one from where, Leicester, I think, or wherever he comes from. So yeah, both of them on the way to
Mexico. You mean?
Yes, Tijuana, that's the one. But yeah, hopefully next episode I'll have 2 straps to show off to you as well.
Yeah, we'll have to post them out when you lose them.
If I lose them, I don't plan it. It's Mania season. No one loses the world title on the way to Mania season, ignoring Elimination Chamber last week.
Indeed. Right. Adam, go for it.
Yeah, I'll continue with my tag team get-ups, my looses. Picked up 3 this week. So I picked up an Elite Heath Slater, and that will go with the one that I already have, which is the Elite Justin Gabriel. I really enjoyed that tag team of Slater and Gabriel. I've got the loose Santino, which will go with Kozlov. And I picked up the only basic, you might disagree with me here, but the only basic that I think outshines any of the elites of the same person, which is the X-Pac Basic, which I believe was a US exclusive. Came with one of the worst belts I've ever seen because it has no detail whatsoever on the European title. And that will go with Road Dogg, which I don't actually have yet. But I love this attire for X-Pac. So shocked that they haven't done it in an Elite yet.
Yes, that is an excellent basic. I thought you were going to. You say it's the only one that's better as a basic than an elite?
I'm struggling to think. If you can prove me wrong, prove me wrong. But I'm struggling to think of one that's better.
I've got one word for you: Tensai. The elite was horrible. The basic was very good.
The elite was horrible if you took off the accessories. If you kept the accessories on, the elite was good.
Well, that's ifs and buts, isn't it?
I think Hogan was a good basic. I think personally.
Yeah, but it wasn't better than the elite. What we're saying is,
I don't know.
I think we let's say
Yellow was a bit.
We're going down a rabbit hole we could usually maybe save for another time, I think.
Yeah, it'd be a good episode topic, wouldn't it?
It would. Anyway, your tag teams, I think I said it last time, you're kind of like stretching what you consider to be these really good tag teams, you know, especially with Santino and Kozlov, they were very much thrown together.
Santino and Kozlov were comedy gold.
Maybe comedy gold, but not very memorable or iconic for me.
I completely disagree. Kozlov was on the verge of being released at that point, and he got a couple of good years out of him with that tag team duo.
And then got released.
Yeah. I think, Jono, that you're obviously seeing the new ones that I get. I have a lot of the old ones already, so it's kind of an era that you're not that fussed about, if you know what I mean. But I'm trying to get it throughout from the mid 80s all the way to now. So I have a lot of the 80s and 90s ones already.
So you're going to really get every tag team?
I'm going to fill these 3 details behind me with as many tags as I can.
So yeah, so anything that qualifies then is an elite, basically. Oh, that's cool. Then.
It's going to be expensive, I think, especially when you come around to the Hardys. And you got the Hardys yet? The Brood?
I haven't. I actually keep looking for that one. I saw it at about 40 the other day, but somebody got it straight away.
Yeah,
I think they're still in ringside, actually. I don't think they're too expensive. Might be able to get them around £40 delivered.
Yeah,
maybe a bit over. Yeah. Anyway, back to me. I picked up, because I'm doing so poorly in the Fantasy Wrestling League, I don't think I've got a chance to win one of the top prizes, so I went and bought it myself. It's the Chase Legend Series Greg Valentine in the yellow trunks. I've also, straight after I bought this one, which I bought from Wrestling Superstore, and straight away after I found it quite a lot cheaper in the US, so I've got another one coming, and I'll open whichever one's got the worst packaging, and just maybe either keep the box one or sell it on.
It's a very good figure.
Yeah, it's neat.
I have no negatives about that figure whatsoever. It's a beautiful figure.
Beautiful man was our Greg.
Beautiful. What's that old meme that goes around? This is your mother back in the 80s or something.
He's got a big old head on him, and he is our Greg. But, I think all in all that figure, the chase for that is, I think, worlds apart from the non-chase, but worlds apart. Not saying standards wise, I'm saying how they look and what sort of area you want to go for. I think the black one looks good, but the yellow one for me just takes it away. It's just really good.
I would have preferred if the yellow one had different coloured boots, and that would have made it much better. But as they stand, I would say they're just on par, equal. Both very good figures.
I like the yellow one, but I think in real life the black one has more iconic moments, like the rumbles and things. And I agree with Jamie. I really like the yellow one. You've done all right in this week's Fantasy League, Jono, just to give you a bit of a perk up.
Yeah, good. Happy to know that.
To move on to, I've got a Decade of Domination, Mark Henry. So got it from the WrestleBox Mine Sale on Facebook, where they just sort of pop a thing for sale on there. You comment the word mine, and it's yours if you get there first. So this came up for a very, very good price, a ridiculously cheap price. The eyes are a bit messed up. I've said it to you guys. I might have to put Mae Young to the right of him. Just looks like he's sort of spotted it at the corner of his eye. But looks like there's a bit of a weird paint job on this bad boy. But apart from that, it's a very, very good figure, and hopefully me and Johnny can do an unboxing at some point when his finally turns up.
Spoilers.
If his turns up.
Yeah, I was quite jealous of the price you got that for, Jamie. I got to be honest. Wish I'd have spotted it first.
It's hard to see these MOC box figures on the webcam, isn't it? Because of the glare.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can see the
old Ric Flair.
on the eye.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. A shame for that it happened, and it's a shame I'm not very good at painting. Otherwise, I would have had a go myself. But I think all in all, it looks really good in the Nations display. There's a lot of weight to the weight, should we say, that comes with it. I said to Johnny the other day, the left side of the box is a bit light. The right side is a chunky old piece. So, but all in all, very, very good figure. And as Adam said, it's a very, very good price I got it for. So I'm happy with that.
Did Mark Henry ever wear shades?
Well, I've actually got a spare pair of shades, but no, I can't get away with it.
Yeah, never mind. Right, let's move on.
It is back to me, right?
Back to you.
I'm going to go on a little bit of a movement, so I hope my phone works here because I won't be able to see, but I've already put it in my display, which is why I'm going on a movement.
Like a modern day Keith Chegwin.
Look at that belt.
I bought the NWA display set from KS Elite Stages. So I've kind of got some of my tag teams already displayed in that one.
Yeah.
The Koloffs and Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, Powers of Pain, and Four Horsemen. Got that for £20 off KS Elite Stages, which I thought was an absolute bargain. I've been meaning to pick it up for quite a while.
Cool. I've had one for years. One of those. I've got one already. I've not had it on display for a while. Just with the amount of figures I've got now, I've got nowhere to put things like that, unfortunately. But I have ordered quite a few things from Carl throughout the years. But it's just getting to the point where I can't even display it now, which is
well. I was just I've always been for 3 years. I've had the kind of same display where I've had some see-through steps. And I was just getting a little bit bored of that, and I thought, considering I'm changing it all to tag teams, I will try and change it up a little bit. So I'll probably make another couple of orders with Carl over the next year or so.
Awesome. Is he do the Piper's Pit one? Have I seen that right? Does he do the Piper's Pit as well?
I don't think he's made a Piper's Pit, no.
Well, someone that does a Piper's Pit one as well. It looks really good. But so I got my stands from Carl. Top work. He's really good at communicating as well. You don't really get that from many sellers, but he sent me step-by-step guides on how to build it. He must have known that I haven't got very good DIY skills. So yeah, I think he really does help for good work as well. It looks really good that as a display piece.
Yeah, he's good lad. He's our Carl. He sent me a few freebies down the years as well. Bless him.
The In Your House set looks really good that he does as well. Nice.
Yeah, we gave that away on the Fantasy Wrestling League last year.
We did. I think it was one of the first things we gave away on there. Jono, we're back to you.
Okay, another reason to wear the NWO shirt is that I picked up the Ultimate Hulk Hogan, and there he is. Probably will take off the board. It doesn't really fit the timeline, I don't think. But I tell you what, Adam, I know you don't like the Ultimates, but if there ever was one you're going to pick up, this is it. Especially when you can hide the torso with the shirt. Really, really good. Probably the best one we've had so far, by a mile.
So I kind of cheated, and I managed to pick up all the heads and the accessories. So I've added them to my custom one that I did, so that I don't have to deal with that horrible Ultimate body. But yeah, get what you mean completely.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's hard to decide which head to even display. I quite like the shouty one. That's pretty nice. So
the heads are spot on them, absolutely spot on.
I didn't like the one that actually came in the box. But I did like it. It just wasn't my favorite out of the three.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a shame that I'm not collecting WCW figures, because that is a big. I mean, I've sort of been trying to look at my collection to see how I can fit that in. And what I can think of is if I expand to 2002, which would then bring Hogan in. I mean, would that fit into there, or is it very much a WCW one?
The only thing that would be different is the boots. He wore like a white boot when he was at the WrestleMania 18. I think.
Maybe I'll get some white paint and draw them on, and maybe draw on Henry's eyes as well.
Well,
you are allowed to have a slightly different display as well. Maybe put it somewhere slightly different.
Exactly. I mean, it's good having a rule and stuff, especially when it's budgeting, but you can make exceptions now and again.
But yeah, that is it. I might have an ultimate shelf. I can fork out for it. But yeah, that's a fantastic looking figure.
It is. It's a good one.
Back to me then. So yeah, just in between the news and here, the postman knocked at the door and said "Viva la Raza" and sent me an Eddie Guerrero, which was nice of him. Picked it up yesterday and it arrived today, which is always good to see. It will fit nicely in my Attitude Era collection. It's the Hall of Fame Eddie, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that right? And I believe someone is sending me a T-shirt in the old post, I believe. So when that arrives, I'll put that together and I'll go next to my china. Lovely.
Yeah, so it's a good figure. It's really nice. I think the body is perfect scale on that figure because Jax did a very similar figure, but it was absolutely huge and looked nothing like the scale. Whereas that one nails it spot on.
Yeah, your camera isn't picking out. It might be because you turned the HD off, Jamie.
Yeah.
But, awesome figure.
Yeah,
we do.
You see what Eddie looks like.
I think I had two back in the day of these. I had kind of one that was using for WCW, then the one that's Latino Heat type deal, but I think I sold one somewhere down the line. Can't remember.
I think it's my favorite Eddie was the sort of early mid 2000s Eddie Guerrero, where he sort of had the storyline with China and sort of like what they're trying to do with Angel Garza at the moment. I like that sort of storyline, whereas weekly it develops, should we say? I think I quite
Angel
like
who? I haven't seen him for a while.
He wrestled last week. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. I put him in my china. There's a good little tag team there for you, Adam. They paired up a couple of times.
Yeah, clutching.
Adam, back to you.
Yeah, my last one. So obviously we all know about the unfortunate circumstances with Brody Lee passing around Christmas time. So the on the AEW tribute show, they all wore armbands, like RIP Brody Lee armbands, and the actual company that made them decided to make a load for the fans as well of exactly the same ones that they made, and all the profits went to Brody Lee's family. So I picked up one of them. Obviously it's backwards on the screen, but it's the RIP Brody Lee from the official company that made them for AEW. So I might have to get some kind of little display started.
No, it appears absolutely fine on our screens, by the way, just so you were aware of that. So you don't need to say it's backwards. Yeah, well, lovely item to pick up. I didn't know about that. If you said something, I might have picked one up myself.
Well, seeing as you say that,
Oh,
you will have one coming each as well.
Oh, thanks.
oh, isn't he the best?
So it's all money to a good cause.
It definitely is. Yes, it's a lovely thing to do, and a lovely thing to do for us.
Well, top man. I should send you some more pasties in the post, Adam.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Every time I think I don't owe you something, I owe you something very soon after.
I suppose you bring the pasties to the mix, Adam. I sent you some lovely pasties last week. We've been enjoying those. Good little pickup there. Johnny, back to you, unless you got some pasties.
Has anyone else got anything left?
There's top I'm wearing, but that's about it. I mean, there's just a little bit of a story on. Should I just go with that?
You go.
If you want.
Well, yeah, basically I was on eBay, and I think I mistyped in Stone Cold, and then someone put this T-shirt on where they had mistyped in Stone Cold, and I got it for £6.50.
Wow.
Which is normally it's a large, which is even better because I don't really fit into a large. But yeah, it's a large, £6.50. Lovely. Person sent it. It smelled like a charity shop, but It was all right. Apart from that, it just misspelled Stone Cold. So always keep a lookout.
What was the misspell? Out of interest.
I think it was like Stone Cold and there's an F instead of a D on the end. Stone Cold.
Right.
If you've got time on your hands, it's worth doing some misspellings on eBay. I used to do it a few years ago. I don't have enough time now. But when I was fancy free and didn't have any commitments, I used to type in a few random ones and used to get some right bargains.
It'd be like searching a needle in a haystack, I imagine.
It was easier than you think, actually.
I mean, the only reason where you're going to get something cheap like that is if they don't include the other keywords like WWE or WWF or things like that.
Wrestling without a G on the end was always a good one.
Wrestling.
I think this one just said like Stone Cold T-shirt large or something.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I didn't really pick up. I didn't have like WWF in there or anything like that.
Right, so this is a bit of a one. So if we go back to episode 1 of this podcast, we called it the Holy Grail. And what did I say about a Holy Grail, which I might have picked up? What better way to start off season 2 with my Holy Grail? It is King Harley Race Elite Flashback Series. So there we go. I've picked it up as a Lucy as well, which is probably better for me because I wouldn't have wanted, if I did buy a box, I would never have opened it. And there we go. Bought it on eBay with a pretty decent price. I seen it a few weeks ago. The seller had it up much higher. Then suddenly got an email saying the seller's reduced the price quite significantly as well. So I picked it up straight away.
I don't know how much you love this figure. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it's a beautiful figure. It's going to be a struggle to fit into my new display, but I'll probably keep hold of that one anyway, more than the others. It's a really nice figure. They'll probably release another Harley, but I would imagine it'll be a mutton chop Harley they release. So this one will still retain its value. Did see a few pop up about 6 months ago, and we thought it was going to be kind of come back out, but it just hasn't materialized. So if you pick that up for anywhere less than about 150 quid, then well done.
Well, I think it was right on 150 quid. So yeah.
I think all in all, colours pop on it. It's a really good figure. It's so sought after, which I think just makes the figure that extra little bit special. Crown on it's really good. I think all in all, it's just a very, very good figure. And if you're a fan of, what was he, mid to late 80s, it was in this sort of gimmick.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of wrestling from those times, a bit before my time, but it's a must-have. And I think if you're willing to spend the money to get it, then it's certainly you need in your collection.
Yeah.
You just need to get another one now to make a Haku.
Yeah. Well, I've got the accessories. They come up quite often on eBay, so I picked up. I think I've got 2 sets of other accessories. Thinking, all right, I've got the accessories. Maybe I'll be able to find Harley cheap as just the figure, but it never happened. But and obviously I can't do custom figures, but I just hope that they don't do a direct re-release of that, and I'll be happy. And I think I'll retain or get higher in value as it goes as well.
You can do a custom King of the Quiz Jamie Wills, couldn't you?
No,
not
at all.
He is desperate for a figure of himself. Desperate.
I'm just desperate for a good figure.
Get one commission, Jamie.
Yeah, it's just the spending of the 80. Well, it's my birthday on Tuesday, so maybe the missus has got me one. I said to her, I was like, if you can find a decent one, then do it. But
you need to get your beard back, and then they can use the Ivar head.
Yeah, that's true. I can't think of an elite that would match me without a beard.
Yeah, I think you should grow that one back.
Maybe the Harley Race one.
Luckily, the better.
Luckily, science grows it back for me, so I can give it a few weeks and it'll start to come. I look like a young David Beckham. Right, so is that everything for pick-me-ups?
Indeed, it is.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Break it down time now, where we're looking this episode into retro review for the last series that we did, last wave, last series, last season, whichever one you want to call it. So let's fire across to our retro review advisor, Johnny.
Yes, so we had an interesting final week, to say the least, and probably the best way to go about discussing this league is to start at the bottom. And to no one's surprise, we have Shawn Michaels anchoring that bottom place by a whole point. So is that about right? Are we happy with that? Yes. 3.85 average out of 10.
Generous?
Yes, possibly is a very poor figure. A whole point up from that was last time we rated Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's second off bottom, 4.8 out of 10. So 4.85 out of 10. Adam, you looked a bit surprised at that.
Yeah, I was thinking the public were going to disagree with me there and make the New Day slightly lower than Matt Hardy, but obviously not.
Yes, so just above those is Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston at 5.1. Right, so still in the fives, we've got Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Goldberg, both Kevin Owens, John Cena, Zack Ryder, and Sheamus. It's all scored under 6. Which I guess isn't too bad of a score. It's above average, you'd say. Although I was thinking about these like ratings and stuff. You'd probably say 6 is average when you rate it out of 10. I don't know how we've been scoring in our own minds, but it's a very much opinionated sort of thing.
Yeah, if somebody said 5.5 out of 10 to me, I'd think that was quite low. So I'd probably agree with you there.
Yeah. So next we have anything that was above 6. Stone Cold, Triple H. Well, there's quite a lot actually, so just take a few names. Roman Reigns, Jeff Hardy, Sting Series 2. These are all like your mid-table type guys. Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton. All just like, neither here nor there.
I think that's the sort of missing something section. I think we can refer to that.
There was something. I've got in 23rd place, 6.62 out of 10 is the Ultimate Warrior. That's something that I thought was much higher. And I think Adam was the one that brought it down quite a lot with a 4.5 rating, I believe. So, yes, Adam is responsible for the poor score on the Ultimate Warrior.
Don't believe the pop. That's all that people see when they see that Warrior, is the way that it pops. There's a lot of faults on that figure.
I suppose there is, but it's nice and colourful and gets your attention that way.
Unlike us, I just realised we're all wearing black. I just realised it's the opposite to Warriors.
The Black Series, you might say. Last week we rated Elias. Elias came in 20th position, so we're in the top 20 now. That was 6.8 out of 10. Obviously, think his accessory played a lot into that, but also my opinion of that sort of decreased as we were talking about it, as we said last week. I couldn't find any faults, but it also wasn't very good either. Yes, and as we move above the 7 line, Finn Balor is in 14th with 7.03. Just above that is Diesel. Diesel at 13th place with 7.06 out of 10. So that was from last week. That scored about right, do you think?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a standard figure. It's a good figure, but it's a standard. Nothing special about it.
Yeah, I think it was just so much in demand and it ended up being a bit disappointing. But at the same time, I think the nostalgia kicks in, which probably ups the score for it, and how it did actually score, above 7. Anyway, Series 1 we scored out of the blue. I don't think we really thought them through too much. The highest of Series 1 was Brock Lesnar at 7.16 and came in 12th position. Do you think that maybe should have come a bit higher?
No, it's a good figure, but it's a very plain, bog standard figure. So it's the opposite of the Warrior. It doesn't have the pop. It's what you want from a figure, but there's no pop about it.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the ones that are above it, I think you agree that it's the best of the ones below it. If that makes any sense to you guys.
Yeah. I was just actually, I'm completely forgetting about the Undertaker. Let's carry on. Sting Series 6 scored higher than its Series 2 counterpart with 7.24, and that was at 10. So we'll go into a top 10 countdown, maybe discuss each one. Number 10 is Chris Jericho. So I would say the scarf maybe pushed that over the edge to give it a top 10 score.
Yeah, I'd say the scarf is a definite attribute that was needed for it. It'd be good to go for this era of Chris Jericho. Nothing more they could have added to it. I think we discussed that at the time. Maybe a list, but yeah, nothing that would have made sense anyway.
Still quite shocked that made top 10, to be honest.
Actually scoring the same amount of points, but I believe it was, fractions in it, a little bit more decimals, is Big E in the New Day attire from Series 4. So a lot, obviously the best one from the New Day, good colour pops.
It's not got a stupid head.
No stupid
jumper.
Yeah, true.
Makes sense.
When I was Xavier and he scored worse than Kofi, that was the jumper.
No, he's got the head though, isn't he? That's where he does this.
The head. Anyway, talking about accessories, coming with a wig in 8th place is Goldust. Surprised that didn't go much higher, but there is some better figures above it. And
good figure.
And he's one of 2 places in the top 10. It's Macho Man Series 9, which is in the green. That's 7.67 out of 10. Thoughts on that one? Is it better than the black and white or not?
No.
So it's the right place.
It's a better person image than the black and white. I would much prefer to see Macho Man 1980s, late Macho Man, but figure-wise, the black and white works better.
Cool.
I think it was the one that needed to do after the green one prototype was shown that wasn't released. I think that's anything that they were released for it. So just much like the Diesel, I think, in that respect.
Fair dues. Right, so as I said about Series 1, we have got our highest of Series 1. It's the Undertaker. It's 7.93. This is one man maybe regrets scoring too low.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one on the way, Undertaker. So I'll have a full detailed look when he turns up. But from what I've seen, it's I don't regret scoring it as low. No matter if Adam's going to say the same thing. I think it was a just position for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the top 10 here, so it's done well. So, yeah.
I've just seen, I've got and see the next couple of figures. I would probably put it above it. So in 5th place is Braun Strowman. A pretty good figure. It was made as a special mold to him, and see why it is quite highly scored. But I would have put it in the lower top 10 for myself.
I think we discussed it, didn't we? It's a very simple figure, and it's a very simple figure that's done very, very well. So, I mean that's why it's scored so highly.
Fair enough. I think this is probably the most controversial. At number 4, we've got Sami Zayn, and that's an 8.27 out of 10. We all scored it pretty high, but all the listeners scored it really low. They really didn't like it. And the comments that I've seen afterwards kind of made me regret my decision a little bit. So, I kind of, in a way, I kind of agreed with some of the comments and regret scoring it so high.
I don't. I think it really works as a retro style figure in a way that it does much more than the Mattel figures. The Sami Zayn for this series, I think it deserves where it is. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I think it's a rare combination that the action makes complete sense. The look is just simple and how it would look. There's no extra bells and whistles that aren't needed. You didn't really need any accessories, and I think it's just a very good. A good figure, so a top 4 is a good place for it.
All right, number 3, we've got Macho Man Randy Savage, and that's the NWO attire. And as we said, we think it's better than the green one, and quite a lot of deco on that. Rightfully so, top 3 for me. In fact, yes, definitely 3rd best retro. I would agree.
Yeah, I think it's going to make most people's top 5, that figure. So definitely deserving.
So now it's between 2 figures. Who's got number 1 place? And shall we go in reverse order? It is been top ever since Series 4. It's Ric Flair is second with 8.47 out of 10.
With a tear in his eye.
With a tear in his eyes, being knocked off top place at the very last hurdle.
It's surprising, I think, because obviously Flair was been up there for 6 episodes now, so 5 episodes. So seeing him sweep in, but yeah, it's a very, very good figure. The action makes complete sense. It's just a very, very, very good figure.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't make number 1.
Yeah, me too. For me, I would put it number 1, but indeed, what we have is a 3-way vote between us, and of course the contributions made by our listeners and followers on social media. And as we said, knocked off in the last episode, and Series 10 is Junkyard Dog. And to be honest, he scored quite a lot higher than Ric Flair as well, so it wasn't like there was a small amount in it. As I said, Flair scored 8.47 out of 10. Junkyard Dog with a massive 8.75 out of 10 wins the Hasbro League. No, it's the Retro League.
Don't say that. So I think the JYD figure, we've discussed it before. Out of all the heads, it's the best head. I think of all the Hasbro, we say now, the Mattel heads, I'd say JYD's probably got the best, the most likely one anyway. Better than the Jakks one, on par with the Mattel one. So I think it's a very, very good figure. The action for it makes sense. The outfit for it looks really good. Simple but great, and yeah, the deserving winner. But surprised at Flair, isn't there?
It's nice to see a character that people have kind of almost forgotten about, or that people aren't even introduced to, scores so highly in a poll like this. It's nice to see.
Yeah, I think the reason why I might have said Hasbro just there is that is probably one of the omissions from the Hasbro line. So I think anything that's from that era and didn't get made by Hasbro is always going to be a one that's very much sought after and wanted. And they've done a good job with this one, luckily. So unlike the Diesel. So yes, I don't understand why it's number 1, but I still have Flair as my top spot, I would say.
I won't, because I can't afford Flair. So JYD being the winner can sit proudly on my shelf at the front.
You'll win it on a raffle eventually, Jamie.
Yeah, fingers crossed. 100 raffles, I'll probably win it. 1 in 100 chance or something.
Lovely. Well, that's your retro review top 44, I believe.
Doesn't sound as good as the top 40, does it? It would have fitted well. Should have 1 to 9. You could have done your best. Is it Greg James as the top 40 at the moment? Could have done him.
No idea, but yes. So that's over. Is it the end of segment? Are we ever going to do another retro review? Find out next.
And yes, it is back. It's the retro review, and we're looking back 10 years or so for when the WWE Mattel Legends line. Jono, I'll fire across to you again, because this seems to be your area.
My area. I believe Adam chose this one, so I chose the retros. Adam's choosing this one, and you can get your thinking cap for 9 episodes time to start a new one. But yes, so we are going with the Mattel Legends original line, Series 1 to 6, as well as any exclusives and 2-packs around that time as well. So as we do, we start off alphabetically on Series 1. It is Dusty Rhodes up first. And we've all got this one for a change. Jamie, I believe it's the only one you've got from the series, isn't it?
So what I've got from the whole Mattel Legends line, yeah. It's big fan of Dusty back in the day. So yeah, I'm happy to put him in my collection.
Talk us through it, Jamie.
Well, colours-wise, I mean, we've had a few Dusties since, haven't we? And I think colours-wise and iconic look-wise for me, this is Dusty Rhodes, because I never really watched the late 80s. It was very much an early 90s thing for me. So the polka dots, everything that come around from him with Sapphire, this is the era for Dusties. This is a great figure to have in any collection, really. The yellow on there really pops. The outfit-wise, really good. I'm glad that they stuck for a theme on there. Headband accessory, really good. T-shirt accessory, removable, really good. Knee pads and armband, elbow pad, really good. What's your guys' thoughts on it?
Go Adam.
I like the amount of detail that they've put into this. The fact that it's got all his spots on the elbow pad, on the knee pads, on the headband. They've put a lot of detail in it and a lot of thought. The T-shirts for me in this series, particularly the early ones, are hit and miss because I do like the fact that they are less shiny than the newer T-shirts that you get nowadays, but also they fray a lot easier. So if you do get a used one, it tends to be quite a frayed shirt that you get because of the material that's used. Head-wise, I think the facial features really matches the Dusty Rhodes from this era, which is definitely the right choice because there's about 3 different Dusty heads now, I think. So that one's definitely good. Body-wise, I think it's the right scale. I think it's the right thickness of body, like even the legs and things like that match. So, yeah, pretty decent figure.
Adam, I do question about your shirt on yours because it looks a lot deeper yellow and mine is shiny. So have you got the right one? Or is it
it's not dull. I think that it's only a deeper yellow because of the way that the camera is. It's not dull, but this early series, all the shirts were less shiny than they are now, and they were slightly thicker material, which was my point. So yeah.
So it's definitely the real one. It's not like a
yeah, it's definitely the real one.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, so I think it's a good face. Represents him very well. The body is perfect. It was obviously designed for Dusty Rhodes, and you've even got his birthmark underneath the shirt. So the deco is excellent. The detail is there. I don't think it's anything like wrong with it. You've even got detail on the wristbands and elbow pad. Very, very good. And you know the accessory, though, the removable headband, as we talked about with the Nick Jackson that didn't have one. This one you can take on or off, and the attire choice is perfect and absolutely the right way to go with this.
Comes off very easy though, is what I will say. The headband, the amount of times it just falls over and the headband just comes flying with it.
I disagree with that. Maybe you've got a looser one.
Maybe I've got a bit of a big Swede on my Dusty. But I agree with the face sentiment. I think if you look at the current Dusty, the latest one, Elite 83, I think it was. It's more like Cartman than Dusty, isn't it? So I think they nailed this one compared to other ones we've seen.
I'm going to start off the scoring, and I've given it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I've given it 0.1 lower, and I went for 8.4. The only thing I find with it is that the spots tend to fade and get damaged quite easily, which I think they could have protected a bit more.
I've gone for 8.2 on there. Only issues I've found with it is my one in the crotch area. One of the spots is sort of half painted on. I don't know if you can see that well.
Actually, I think that's kind of by design, because
that's what I mean. So a bit annoying, really. They've done that because it would have been good to just sort of match up at the back, but yeah, it's a bit annoying. So 8.2 for me.
Lovely. Let's go next to Ricky Steamboat. There it is, and this is represented all red. I believe it's 1986 circa era, and he often carried a Komodo dragon to the ring, which I'm pretty sure this accessory is not a Komodo dragon. There you
It's
go.
an alligator.
Anybody got this one? No,
No, I had it.
No, Steve.
I'll hold it up on the screen so you can get a good look. I think the jacket, the gi is quite nice, and it's got his logo there and a logo on the side. But other than that, it's very bland. There's nothing on the tights. The boots are black, but they do have a logo, I guess. And the headband is not removable. So another inconsistency there. So yes.
Did he wrestle with the headband on back in this era?
If he did, it maybe fell off and things, so it would be best to be removable. But the face, I think, is pretty good, regardless of the headband. The scale is perfect. He's smaller than the others. I'm not a fan of the dragon. I'm not a fan of anything like that because to be honest, you can't even display it with it. It's hard to hold.
Does the dragon's headband come off? It's on his jaw. Or...
No. Obviously, that's molded on too.
2 for 2. Weird.
So, and I also think it's a poor choice of attire. They should have went with the WrestleMania 3 to kick things off, I would say.
I had pretty much the same points as you had. I had that it was quite bland. I actually think scale-wise, it's slightly too thin underneath. Obviously, you don't need to display it without the karate gear, but I think it's very, very thin underneath. I know he wasn't a big man, but I just think it's slightly out of scale. The accessory is what pulls this figure massively down. It's a terrible accessory, one of which they repeated with Luke Harper a few, well, not a few series later, quite a lot of series later, so they must have had extras. Yeah. Facial wise, it's fine. I can see why they did the headband molded on, because his hair tended to flop over it. Which they would have had to make alterations with the hair if they were going to do that with the headband. So I can see that a bit.
I think with the stands and stuff that come with it, I think these figures were solely made to not be played with. I think they were made to be displayed. So I think it makes sense to have it molded on rather than having the headband removable and so on. But I think all in all, I don't mind the gi that it comes with. I quite like it. Imagine if you're a customizer, it comes in handy if you're making a Karate Kid figure or something like that. So I think it does make sense to have the gi. I quite like the outfit. I think the headband makes sense to me. I did a bit of research on this because I don't own this figure, but everything apart from the alligator it comes with, I quite like.
Right, should we hit it over with some scores then?
Yeah, I'll kick us off. I went last time. The alligator for me knocked it down a few pegs, so I went for a 7.2 on this one.
Generous?
Yep, exactly the same for me. I can't see too many horrendous faults with it, but it's quite bland, so 7.2.
Wow.
Copycat.
Well, I'm going to bring this whole thing a lot down, and I'm going to say 5.6. I think it's a very bland figure, unfortunately, and
dragging it down.
Yeah, as I said, it was a poor choice of attire and poor accessory. Right, next, I think we could probably do 2 in 1. It's the Road Warriors, both Animal and Hork. And Adam's got those as well.
I have.
Nothing for me, but great figures.
Yeah. Adam, would you like to have a talk through with them?
Yeah, I can do. I think what really makes these figures stand out compared to any others is the detail on the pads. The fact that they do have straps going round, the fact that the spikes are a different colour to the rest of the pads, just the detail of them and making sure that they stay on the figures, because a lot of the newer LOD ones fall off, whereas these obviously are strapped on. The heads on these figures are immense. Obviously, they couldn't do a proper scan on Hawk, but they've absolutely nailed the scan on Hawk. I have had 2 different versions of the face of Hawk. I've had one where it's a completely black paint on it, and I've had this one where it's a line of blue on it. So is yours a line of blue as well?
Yeah, it is.
And it didn't look like the other version that I had was kind of scratched off or anything. So I don't know if there's 2 different variants of this one. Animal is obviously a lot more detailed. You've got the spider which he was known for on his. Like the fact that it's green as well. I don't know why, it just pops the face of Animal. They're simple. The trousers just says Warriors on both sides, which, is 1980s, mid-1980s NWA style. So the only thing that I think does drag them down a little bit is I think they were much more bulky and muscly than these figures seem. These figures are far too thin for the Road Warriors.
I was going to say that about the scale is that, I think Animal's possibly got Hawk's body, but Animal could do with a bit of a bulkier body. So they could both definitely do with moving up a level in how big they are.
Yeah, the newer Legion of Doom Animal has a much bulkier body than that, and he kind of stayed around the same size for that period. So there's no reason for this one to be a lot thinner,
I suppose. So just for the record, I have got some Toy Biz NWO tag team titles on mine. They didn't come with them, but nice little addition if you could pick them up.
It is
quite pricey now. Jamie, thoughts?
But yeah, I agree with the body. I think that was the first thing I was going to point out, was the Animal body was just being too slim and too small. I think it's just a very strange one why they went for that. But once again, I think overall these two figures, I don't think, maybe barring future ones coming up in this series, probably the best tag team figures you're going to get at the moment. The gauntlets on there are so much better than the elite ones you get. The elite ones are just an absolute nightmare to keep on the actual figure. End up putting them on their shoulders in the end, just below the pads, just because it seems to fit on there better. But overall, I think it's very rare to have a black figure pop this much, and it does. It's really good.
Definitely. Adam, would you like to score them first?
Yeah, just to point out the different skin tone shades as well on these. So they went the extra mile with giving Animal a little bit more of a tanned look, which was good. I scored them extremely highly. Hawk, I scored a 9, and Animal, just with the body, could have been a little bit better. I gave an 8.7.
Yes, very generous. I went for in the 7s, and I went for 7.6 on Animal and 7.8 on Hawk.
Wow.
Mm. The only downside to Hawk for me is I would have liked to have seen more of a facial expression on there. You guys could tell me wrong if I didn't really follow him back then, NWA wrestling, but a bit more of a, and that's what Hawk was to me. I think looking back at the front cover of that Battle Royal video that I've discussed before, he's got his tongue out. He's very expressive. I'd quite like to see that on the figure. So that's the only downside for the Hawk figure to me. So it's got an 8.5 for me, an Animal an 8.1 because of the body.
Very good. Looks like I'm the harsh one this season. Right, moving on. We've got Sergeant Slaughter, and I'm pretty sure both of you don't have this one. So
I have had it, but I don't have it now.
Yes. So I think the face is pretty good, and the body is obviously designed for him. One of the main things to note at this point, Mattel are not painting on skin tone on vest type bodies, which is a good thing. So that's what ruins most of the figures that come out these days with singlets with the likes of Bret Hart or Sting or someone like that. Accessory, I think they're really good. It's got good detail on the hat. The shades are cool, and a little whistle to go with it. Just a bizarre choice of attire. Why are they doing a Sergeant Slaughter in blue when they should have kicked it off with a more notable camo attire?
Yeah, it's. I mean, the first thing I'll point out for this is the chin is fantastic.
Yeah,
really, really good chin. Decent chin. It's like me actually. I can. But yeah, I'd say I completely agree with the outfit side of things. I don't know why they've gone for more of a PE teacher, Sergeant Slaughter. It looks like he's raided the lost property box, isn't it? It's very strange. Whistle wires and hat and sunglasses, brilliant, lovely. Give me those all day long. Thank you very much. But the attire is just a bit of a letdown for me.
Yeah, there's no real reason to have done a kind of early to mid 80s Slaughter at this point. people would have wanted the other one much more. It's really bland for me. I don't like the figure at all. I did buy it, then I got rid of it because I just thought it didn't pop in a display. It didn't remind me of Slaughter. I know it probably would other people, but it's not the era that I know Sergeant Slaughter from. You've got your sunglasses, which are the basic sunglasses. I don't know if they could have improved them in any way, but they're the basic sunglasses that come with 90% of other figures.
Mhm.
I just think it's really bland and boring. Yes, it looks like him, but it's boring.
Yeah, it's fair comments. I think it's like early 80s, so a lot of people don't collect things before, say, the Woken wrestling era, or even sometimes the, whatever, the golden era. So it doesn't really fit the timeline. Obviously, me being a bit of a psycho, I'll collect anything before, say, 2008 or something like that. Anyway, I'll kick us off with a score. It's not a bad figure. It's 6.4.
I think the basic was better for me. I think the basic Slaughter was better than this one. I know we discussed it before, but 6.6.
6.2.
Sergeant Slaughter in the sixes. All the S's.
Naughty. Right. Last one. It is the first of very many Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this is the Legend Series 1. If you see anything different from the defining moment, is that the back of the vest has got a different logo, and it's only got one knee brace because he was wearing one knee brace in 97, I believe. So yeah, Jamie's got the defining moment.
The DM. Yeah, I got the DM one here. So yeah, this also major difference is that face wise. I mean, he's putting a bit of a different expression to that one. This head's a bit slimmer, so I think I would definitely prefer the Legends head on there. Even though Stone Cold did have a bit of a small head, but I think I definitely prefer the look of the Legends one. Body wise, looks a whole lot better on that one as well. It looks a lot more bulkier, a lot more Austin-y. I think all in all,
same body. To be fair, Jamie,
I don't know. I'm looking at this one here, and it looks a lot slimmer than your one.
I'll go get it and have a look. Have a compare.
But yeah, I think all in all, it's just a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure that people are going to pick up regardless of which era they go for, because everyone knows Austin, didn't they?
Yeah, it's one of those that kind of does what it says on the tin, really. You don't really need much else from an Austin figure. I don't know if the back of the vest was the main one that he wore all the time. That's what's confusing me about the Legends one. Is that the one that he wore most of the time, or is the Stone Cold the one that he wore most of the time?
I couldn't tell you. I think he just used to switch it up quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, he mixes
several
different
different vests on.
Is that your camera work, or are the skin tones a lot different on those two?
Probably the camera. I think they're exactly the same.
It does come with a T-shirt as well, the
Yes.
Legends one, which is the Austin 316 shirt. Quite a fabric-y type shirt.
I ended up getting rid of them, or I lost them or something, because I ended up on the defining moments. I lost that one as well. So I've managed to get one back and put it on the defining moment since I'm using the vest on this one. But yes, there's not a lot of difference. I believe the scale's exactly the same, Jamie. So
maybe just on screen.
And I think the faces are as well.
Yours looks a bit more bulkier. But, it definitely looks like a different skin tone, but it might be your camera on that side of things.
It probably is, because one's close to the other. If I switch them around.
Yeah, it is. There's
always something that I just don't think's quite right on the Steve Austin face. I'm not saying it's bad, but there's something that's slightly off.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
The closed mouth, I think, does it for me.
I don't think they've quite nailed it at this point.
The Fig Waltz one was really good.
Yes, with a Steve Austin, you're going to have the face be really good, because the attire is so bland and nothing really to it. I think it could have come with another accessory belt, perhaps, because there wasn't much to it. And it was a perfect choice for the figure of the first series, and the attire, of course, is the most iconic. Yeah, so I think that's That's all I've got to say about that.
The bottom line, I think the only thing for me is missing is the chain. Maybe have a removable chain with Stone Cold. But I mean that's asking for a bit too much for Series 1 of a line. But apart from that, just say you can't really do much with the Stone Cold figure. We've seen recently they've released a few more of this era. So yeah, I think for me it's just a standard Stone Cold.
Would you like to give a score then?
Yeah, why not? I thought the body was a bit bulky, which I liked, but now it's not. I'm going to take points off that I put on top for that. So it's a standard 7 for me.
Not bad. And Adam?
I've got a straight 8 on this one. I don't think there's many places that they could go wrong on it. It is what it is. Knocked a point off for the face and a point off for just general blandness.
Oh, well, very generous compared to me again. So we've got an 8, we've got a 7, and I've got a score in the 6. It's 6.3 for me. I mean, it's good, but it's not one of those figures that, it doesn't blow me away.
I think it would be good to see him release like a beer can accessory at some point. I know they probably won't, but I'd quite like to see a beer can accessory to come with Stone Cold.
I don't think they're going to.
No, neither that's what I'm saying. I don't think they'll go into because obviously it's toys end of the day, isn't it? You have a beer can come with toys, but they've released knives and stuff.
You certainly can have them. It's just that Mattel seem to be quite wary of doing anything that's adult related,
adult themed. So they are children's toys, but that's the Legends line. There's no other ones, is there?
That's it for Series 1. We'll be back
1
again for Series 2.
In the bag, lovely. And also we're mixing these in with the retros, will we, or we're starting our own league?
Could do both.
Yeah, sort of.
Do an overall figure review and one for each genre as well. So, sure.
Perfecto, lovely. Right, we'll move on to our newest segment next, which will be coming up shortly. Newest segment time now, and it's Unpopular Opinions we're going with. We haven't thought of a catchy name yet, but as soon as we do, we'll make sure we slide it in there. When we saying our own opinions on a certain subject that we would have thought of ourselves, and the other two are going to try and either agree or disagree, and it's up to us to fight our corner, essentially. So my turn to start with, and my unpopular opinion is that I'm perfectly fine with US exclusives existing or certain figures not coming out in the UK. That's my unpopular opinion. Johnny, what's your view on those?
Well, before I give you my view, I'd like to ask why you think that, Jimmy.
Mainly because I think as of late, figures have become a bit flooded in the UK market, should we say. Certain elites that you sort of think, oh, that's going to pick up in value, or better get that now because it's I'm not going to see that for a while. I thought we've missed that in the last year or so. I think we know full well which ones are going to flood the market, which ones aren't, and it's just sort of ruining the buzz for me a little bit, truth be told. So it'd be good to have things that are just solely released in the US, and in that way you can pick and choose which ones you want, and you know where to place them, really.
Right, so I'm going to agree and disagree with you. I agree it's an unpopular opinion. I completely disagree with the opinion. I just want figures to be accessible. Why would I want to pay 40 quid for a figure when I can pay 20 quid for it? If we just go back down the financial aspect of it, absolutely. And I want these figures available at my fingertips. I don't want to have to go on any sort of hunts. I don't want to go, via any websites, pay extra customs. I don't see any positives in what you just said, Jamie, unfortunately.
So I'm going to kind of add to that. I don't understand your opinion more than I don't see any positives. If they were doing something spectacular, or if these figures stayed with the USA people forever and they were like, we've got something unique, we've got something brilliant, then fair play. But the moment they get released, they're going to come into the UK. They're not necessarily going to flood, but they're going to come in enough supply for people to get them, but at double the price that you would get a normal figure for. So it's not benefiting anyone. The US people aren't saying, oh, this is only ours. And the UK people are spending twice as much on a product that's nothing special. There's nothing special about them. If there was something different about them, fair play. But there isn't. So I really don't understand the opinion.
So the opinion is it's basically around the exclusive side of things, so the US exclusives. So Mattel Elite's probably a bad example, but it's the exclusive word I'm concentrating on here. So say that the Harley Race one, for example, I understand that it's something you want to pay 20 quid for, but at the same time, it's something that feels that extra bit special because you can't get it at B&M. Do you understand? That's where I'm sort of coming from, is that the exclusive side of things I like, and I want to see more of the exclusive side of things, which I feel that is a cornered market, and it's allowing them to release certain figures they wouldn't do because they wouldn't sell in floods and floods and floods, basically. Like the Karma. We wouldn't have got the Karma if it was released in a regular series because I didn't think it will sell in floods and floods, basically.
You just change your opinion into something completely different now, though.
But that's the opinion I was going for. So maybe I didn't explain it as well as the original. But that's this exclusive side of things, of having certain things released over there, which is going to corner the market rather than just completely flooding every shelf in the UK.
If I had picked between getting a Karma and not getting the Karma, I would pick getting the Karma. Absolutely. But I don't want that to become a US exclusive. I wanted, just like it has been, available to click on a pre-order on Smith's, pay 20 quid, then I'm going to get the figure.
Let's concentrate on the Karma that you're saying here, Jamie. So you're saying it wouldn't have been made in the regular series because it wouldn't have sold as many, right? That's your point.
Yeah, basically.
Right, so how much does that go for in the US then? Regular price or more?
Regular price, but limited to Target.
Then that opinion makes no sense then, because Mattel are not getting anything out of it. They're still making the figure at a regular price, so therefore they could make more of the figure to sell worldwide. I don't get the point.
So it's an exclusive, so it's not part of... So you have Elite, was it 85 of Karma? But Karma's classed as a collector's edition, so it's classed as an exclusive in the US.
I completely get the point, but if it costs the same to make and it's costing the US people the same to buy, then what's your point about it not being in the regular series?
My point is the fact of it's not in the regular series. I'm trying to explain the point in a different light, basically. So basically, if you have 6 series, you're limited to 6 wrestlers in one series, and that series is going to flood the market as we know it's going to. It'll be showing up in every shelf possible. If you're making a limited amount of Karma, because you know full well that isn't going to sell as much as the others, you don't have to flood the shelf as much as the others, that Karma is going to then become a bit more sought after, a bit more rarer. The chase is going to be on. We're going to get that buzz again and find one on the shelf, compared to being in B&M and bumping into a Liv Morgan every 2 seconds. That's what I mean, is having more of an exclusive side of things in America as well as over here, just so we can get that buzz back, trying to hunt the figures again.
Nope. I want figures to be easily accessible at retail price, and if they shall appreciate in value over time, that's exactly what I want. You know, I bought some of these Legend figures back in 2014 for 20 quid. They're now worth something like £100, and you could say they're going to be exclusive to get, and that's the way I want it. I want them readily available at the retail price, but that over time they become, you know, much more sought after for that reason, but not that they're just going to be exclusive for exclusive sake.
I love the thrill of the chase, so I get the meaning behind what you're saying, because I do like the fact, oh my gosh, I've got that. But I think your point is eradicated by the fact that these US exclusives are readily available for us. I haven't struggled to get any of the US exclusives. I've just paid more for them.
Yeah.
So I think your point there is not valid.
Yeah, I think I didn't take the the cash side of things into account. Only because, you don't want to pay double the price. I'm not saying, let me pay double the price, because if I just go out and pay double the price anyway. That's not my point. I think we've got a bit lost in that. My point is the fact of I want figures to become a bit harder to find, basically. It is the gist of what I'm trying to say. And the only way they can do that is by making them exclusives.
Well, no, you could make them limited numbers, like the Chase and the Rare from AEW.
Yeah, that's what they do with exclusives. Exclusives are you get a shorter amount than you do the regular series.
I think you've just said 3 or 4 completely different things in this whole.
And you agree with none of them.
Probably not. No.
But yeah, I don't want to pay extra for them. I just want to say, like, I want more exclusives. I want more of the chase. I want more of the hunt and the thrill of the buzz of finding a rare figure.
The only possible way that I would possibly agree with you here, in any way, shape, or form, is the fact that I have an extra figure that I could possibly get on top of the original 6 elites in that series. That is the only way I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, and the only thing I agree with is that it's unpopular. Very unpopular opinion, Jamie.
Well, that's why the segment's called Unpopular Opinions.
It is.
Isn't it? It's not,
you've done the right thing.
It's not called Unpopular Facts, is it? Because a fact is a fact. It's an unpopular opinion that I want them to make less of certain figures just so it's harder to come by.
Well, that's created a debate, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought a gap. No. Well, a prime example, if they release a Crash Holly, which I've been looking for ages, a Crash or a Hardcore Holly, and they release it in the hundreds of thousands in the UK, everyone and their dog's going to have it. It's going to drive the price down. It's going to make it on the shelf. Just going to look at it and go, it's a bit meh. Whereas if it's an exclusive, I know full well that figure is going to be a bit more sought after, should we say.
So that
will that make you better at looking at it in the shelf?
Yeah, I know it's horrible to say, but it would. I've got certain figures on my shelf that I don't look at, and you're like, ugh. But then I know that they're a bit of the Hardy Boys Brood, for example. They're exclusive to Ringside. I look at them and I think they're a lovely looking figure. They are. If they were releasing the ordinary Elite line, it wouldn't sit front and center on my display. So I think that could be where we differ between the three of us. Is that I'm cheap, and if I pay extra for a figure, I want it to be displayed.
What are you talking about?
It's exclusive, so it's
I think you're concentrating on the value and things rather than the look of the figure. Whereas I can look at a figure that's in a normal Elite line and everybody's got, like we spoke about a bit in the last series with the underrated ones. I can look at one like the Harlem Heat ones that were out and that were a $5, and I can still appreciate them as much as exclusive figures, which is where I think we differ.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that, Adam.
At least you agree with something in this segment. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's completely it. I think if I see a figure for a $5 in Smiths, it's going to diminish it, in my opinion, which it shouldn't do, but it does. Whereas if I don't see a figure for a $5 in Smiths and I only see it for around £50 and I own it, that figure's then I want that, basically. But that is essentially 2 separate opinions.
Suppose so.
And 2 separate subjects. But yeah, all in all, we don't agree on that. So I'll strike that down as a loss for Jamie.
Yes, let's wrap this up and say goodbye.
Yes, lovely. So yeah, we've a series. We say a series or season? What are we going with?
Season.
Unpopular opinion. It should be series. Season 2 is in the bag. Episode 1, and we'll be back for next time, where we'll be discussing hopefully not exclusives, and we'll be listening to one of your guys' unpopular opinions. And apart from that, Jonathan, thanks for your time.
Cheerio. Bye bye.
And Adam, hopefully your mouth feels better.
Me too. A few days. See you later.
Yeah, in a bit.